So what are some of the best foods for kids to be eating?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, we've got such great information now. People think, they walk around the dark as if we don't know what causes cancer. We don't know how to prevent it. And my point is, this isn't bad news. This is good news. We know that certain foods have very powerful anti-cancer phytochemicals. And you eat those foods, you can literally disease-proof your body. You were talking about the flu earlier. Viruses take a more virulent form and become very serious if you don't have the phytonutrients present. So you got to eat so it's not just against cancer. It's against, your brain works better, you don't get dementia, and when you get a viral infection, the virus can't it has a very dangerous form. It keeps it in check. But anyway, here are those, what I call my Fab Five. It's berries, add berries to your cereal, make dessert sorbets from frozen berries. We make a delicious frozen berry sorbet by putting an orange or an orange juice in with some frozen strawberries and whipping it up with a little piece of dried pineapple or something. Make great, delicious desserts and whips it of berries. And green vegetables. My kids eat tons of kale and broccoli. We make, broccoli and garlic and a steamed kale with a cashew butter and a cashew and onion cream sauce and, blending raw cashew with little onion flakes and some soy milk. My kids, they fight over eating the kale. They eat huge amounts of greens. And seeds are a highly nutritious food. They prevent cancer. They make you live longer. Sprinkling some sesame seeds and sunflower seeds on salad and vegetables, grind some into a powder and sprinkle it as like a salt on your as a flavoring powder. Mm-hmm. Beans are, women who eat beans on a regular basis have a 40% lower risk of breast cancer. Those especially the red beans, like red kidney beans and azuki beans. Mm-hmm. They have that long-lasting feeling of making you give of satiety, where you really feel like you ate something. And we make these delicious soups with beans and green vegetables and sun-dried tomatoes and parsnips and carrot juice. And
there's a wonderful section of recipes in Disease Proof Your Child, Feeding Kids Right, and they sound delicious to me. But I know that there are probably parents out there listening, going, "Okay, that all sounds great, and Dr. Fuhrman's children eat greens, which are very nutritious. I know that, right. But my kid will only eat pizza, pasta, and donuts, and he'll throw a tantrum. What can I do to get my child to eat healthy?"
It's so funny because I get parents and kids like this into my office every day. I mean, just yesterday I had a parent just like that. And the kid sat right across the table, and I said, and I said, well, it really doesn't have to do with a child here at all. I mean, we're an animal. We have certain drives, and we have a drive for calories, and we have a drive for pleasure. And you can't, if you're shipwrecked on Gilligan's Island, you're going to eat the foods that are on the island. You put back and you're saved and put back into America again with pizza and highly salted and oil and cheeses and sugar and all kinds of spices and heavily seasoned food. Your person's not going to sit there and have the broccoli and apple. You're going to go with the food with more caloric density and with more highly concentrated flavors in it. So it's not a question of, it's normal for a kid not to eat vegetables in those circumstances. But then I teach them how the more you have the highly seasoned, the highly concentrated flavors, it deadens your taste buds. And, the taste thrill is only temporary. Now you go back to eating an apple or a piece of broccoli, there's no flavor anymore because you deaden your taste with the high seasonings. Not only that, when you try to stop eating it, you can feel lousy. In other words, the answer to your question is that the child, it's a complicated issue how you cultivated the non-vegetable eater, but we can bring it back and start it over again. We just have to change the whole family as a whole.
It's not hopeless at age 7, 8, 9, 10?
Nah, it's not hopeless. I do it all the time. It's a combination of, you have to educate the whole family simultaneously. They have to learn this information together.
And parents have to eat that way too then, right?
The parents have to eat the way the child, we have to make the food with the child and make the fun recipes. You have to discuss why you're doing it and why the opinion. If you set a rule in the family, it's done in a democratic fashion because the kid has to be shown that the kid doesn't want the father to eat the same way he was eating, because he doesn't want the father to get colon cancer, doesn't want his mother to get ovarian cancer or something. He doesn't want to get, he knows, in other words, the whole family has to do it out of love for each other.
Right.
And then they change as a unit, that you make great tasting recipes, and they accept the fact there's a 2 or 3 week period where they're not going to like it, it takes an adaptation phase where it's not going to taste as good at the beginning. That changing their taste takes time. So we do it in a democratic fashion. So we set up one set of rules for everybody in the family. It's not focused on the child eating right, and you have to change the house. Start to remove the junk food from the house. So when you're hungry and you go to have food choices, there's not the other stuff that you were eating just isn't there anymore in your environment. You have to get back to Gilligan's Island.
Right. What would we eat more naturally, more basic, right? So.
Absolutely. And you couldn't become overweight if you lived on Gilligan's Island because the stomach only holds a liter of food, and natural foods are not that calorically dense. You only become obese when you start eating, bread and oil and sugar and flour and stuff that we, and cheeses and stuff that we eat in America. That's how you know Skipper never really lived on that island.
The ginger, though.
Well, I don't know if she wore makeup. I don't know.
So, well, this is truly a wonderful book. I mean, I can't recommend it enough because, as you say, parents don't want to poison their children. And no parent knowingly wants to poison his or her child. And yet, the standard American diet is putting them on the road to cancer. And this is a fantastic book in the sense of you explore great. You talk about the foods that one shouldn't have, one should have. You have great recipes in there, and but you also talk about things like protection from toxins and the way that you might peel fruit, and you say don't eat non-organic strawberries, and you can just have these if they're organic, but if they're not organic, make sure you peel them, discard wash your hands after peeling a banana that might have pesticide on it. I mean, it's just this has it all.
Oh, well, thanks, Larry. And what it does. It has some of the concepts, but I have to give you a feel for what it's like to just use nutritional excellence as a therapeutic tool too, because I get such incredible, miraculous things happening on a daily basis. Like a girl who comes to me as a patient, and she's on a national renal transplant list with lupus. Can you imagine having to lose a kidney at the age of 14?
Mm.
And this girl on 4 different medications is not getting better. They sign her up for a transplant. Within 4 months of a diet change, of nutritional excellence, of eating all these healthy foods, her lupus goes away and her kidney goes all the way back to normal, from a creatinine of 4.9 to a creatinine of 0.8 in 4 months' time. And I didn't even know even myself it could happen. Mm. These are the kids I see every day, and I'm just like, and people have no idea that their children are suffering. Kids are dying, and I have a patient here who I just saw last week, who was in bed for 3.5 years, couldn't go to school. She was she missed her whole middle school years, and she went to every headache specialist in the country, hospitalized for weeks at a time, trying to break her headache, and she had such severe pain and discomfort she really couldn't function at all.
And
when these kids make a complete recovery, their parents say, "How come other doctors didn't tell me this? Well, I didn't know that the diet change could cause these conditions to resolve." And so in other words, I just want to make clear that nutritional excellence is powerful, that we live in it with a miraculous self-healing body, essentially.
Right, and you say it's a solution to current childhood diseases, and it's also protection against what might happen in the future in developing the cancers. We probably have about a minute and a half here left, so let me let you get to anything I may have missed. I'd like people to know how to get your book, Disease Proof Your Child, Feeding Kids Right. It's Joel Fuhrman, M.D., Fuhrman, M.D., and maybe a website. Where can they get the book?
My website is, of course, the book is available everywhere, I'm sure, but my website is drfuhrman.com. I got lots of great information there, too, and I give people advice on the website. It's drfuhrman.com.
Well, this is like it's like you're the Dr. Spock of the 2000s here, huh? I mean, this is the book. If you want your children to be healthy and to grow up healthy, you must read this book. So all parents, all doctors, please, it's Disease Proof Your Child, Feeding Kids Right, Joel Fuhrman, M.D. Dr. Fuhrman, I want to thank you for being with us here today, and it's a great book, and thank you for your contribution to the important knowledge that needs to be exposed.
Well, thanks for having me on, Bob.
Okay, a pleasure.